And welcome back to our continuing series, Today's Senior, presented by Synergy Home Care. Well, many seniors experience memory loss, confusion, even dementia with aging. Those are very real issues and somewhat common, but there are also some health problems that appear to be dementia, but they're not.
Ruth Busalacchi is the president of Synergy Home Care. She is here along with Dr. Douglas Kloss, who is an audiologist. Great to see both of you.
Thanks for being here.
I think this is a great topic, and I'm so glad you suggested this to us, because I think a lot of people are going to go, no way.
Right.
Because,
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, they think the aging senior in their lives, that they have dementia, or they've been confused, or they've got memory loss, and maybe they need to look at something else. Like the first one, I think is going to be very surprising to people. Things like a urinary tract infection can mimic signs of dementia, confusion, memory loss, right?
Yes, it's surprising to think that that would even happen, and it's usually the very first thing that a doctor will check when someone is suddenly not acting themselves for urinary tract infections.
Wow. And why is it? Why does it affect other
I don't know the science behind that, but it just is so commonly understood that medical professionals, and we train caregivers to watch for sudden changes in someone's behavior. They may have a urinary tract infection.
Wow.
Interesting.
Undiagnosed heart condition is number 2.
Which makes sense when you think about it, because that means that maybe you're not getting enough oxygen to the brain.
Fair.
So if it's undiagnosed, your family is going to first go to the thought, mom has dementia, and it might very well be something treatable.
What about low blood sugar? This can cause confusion in particular,
right? And that's an acute issue, so that is something you definitely want to deal with right away. If you notice that and you know your family member has potentially diabetes, that's something you want to address immediately.
Yep.
Okay.
Heat stroke, depression.
Depression is probably one of those chronic. You know, your loved one has gone through a major change in life. They could very well be depressed.
And a lot of loss.
That's what I was going to say, the exact same thing.
So many people.
Yes. So try not to go right away to the idea that maybe it's dementia. It might be depression, and that, again, is treatable.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, you know, you mentioned loss. I think sometimes we think, oh, especially older people, well, that's how it is. You live long enough, you're going to start losing a lot of people close to you. Correct. But it doesn't minimize how you feel about that or process it. And so maybe you think it's normal to have depression, but it is something that can be treated and can be helped either with medication or therapy or other things like that. I think that's a good one. Poor sleep, even.
I think we can all identify with that. You know, if you don't get good sleep, and it could be chronic. And if it's chronic poor sleep, and how do you know? You know, if your mother or father has poor sleep, unless you ask. But they could be showing confusion, and they're distracted, and they're not paying attention and making mistakes. And so again, it's something that is treatable.
Yeah. The reason you're here is because another one of the things is hearing loss. And I think this makes complete sense to me, but a lot of people may not realize that their loved one is not having issues, they're just not hearing anymore.
Correct, and it happens quite often. People come in and they think, well, mom's just getting old, she's got some cognitive decline, but they've never had their hearing checked. And you go and find out that they've got this, you know, huge hearing loss, and everybody thought it was just mild. And lo and behold, the next thing you know, they're sitting in the corner, always responding yes to questions that aren't yes and no questions. And we go and do a hearing test and find out they've got this huge hearing loss. Turn around and treat them with hearing aids, and they do wonderful. Okay, and then we were talking before about this depression. What happens is people will you know, they get embarrassed because they're answering questions wrong.
They're linked.
So they refuse to answer questions, and then the next thing you know, they're depressed about that. They don't want to go to the family gathering because they're not participating in conversations. And the next thing you know, that adds to it. And the research has even shown that, you know, this auditory deprivation has, your brain will actually shrink. Your brain cells will actually shrink from it.
Wow,
and then
I did not know that.
The next thing you know, you're sitting in the corner and you're not participating, and
you're declining.
Yeah.
Do you think that's shocking that it actually changes your brain? Do you think that people are often afraid to investigate their hearing situation because they're worried about the cost of hearing aids?
The cost, you know, I won't lie, hearing aids are expensive. Good hearing aids that do the job are expensive hearing aids.
And isn't it true Medicare doesn't cover them?
They don't.
Neither does health insurance.
They don't. There's ways around it. My office, I have a rental program, but that's not what we're here for.
Right.
The point is get something. Have an audiologist treat you and find out where you're at, and then deal with that part later. Okay. the risk of not having that done is too much more. You'll be isolated. That isolation leads to more depression.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a vicious cycle that keeps on going on.
My mother wears 2 hearing aids, and even just as she's aged, she's needed stronger ones. And even in those moments, we find like we start thinking, is something happening? No, she's just not hearing well. So even just checking them, if they have them and need stronger.
Right. And modern ones,
we
we connect it to a computer, and in 5 minutes, we just up the power to whatever their current hearing loss is. It works wonderful.
It's so great you can do that.
A free consultation for hearing right now for anybody who would like to go in and bring a loved one. You can call Dr. Kloss at 414-281-8300 for that free hearing consultation. That's how you do it at Midwest Audiology Center. Then here's information as well for Synergy Home Care for a special right now. If you mention the Morning Blend, you can get 10% off of your first bill. You do that by calling their number, which is 414-763-8368, or visit online at synergyhomecare.com to learn more there as well.
And it's worth mentioning that Synergy Home Care, your purpose is to provide supportive services in home for people, so the people living at home, and there's such a wide variety.
Right. Whether they have those health conditions or they have any cognitive decline, if you want to stay home, we can help.
Yeah, this is a great topic. Thanks to both of you.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.